Needless to say, the third and final movie in the How to Train Your Dragon series was an emotional ride. The filmmakers behind the movie definitely know how to tug, that is to say, yank around like a rope pulley on your heartstrings. If you have been a fan of these movies since the first one, like my sister and I were, then you definitely have to cap the experience with The Hidden World. However, before you see the movie, you should be warned that there are a lot of things you can miss during Toothless's last wild adventure with Hiccup. You have to keep a watchful eye and an attentive ear open during the movie in order to catch these things. Anybody else enjoy putting captions on during a movie? It totally helps me catch unintelligible bits of dialogue. There are callbacks to the first How to Train Your Dragon movie, surprise actors playing beloved characters, secret dragons hidden in the background, and puzzling plot holes that can escape your notice. Read on if you want to learn about all the things you might have missed while watching The Hidden World. Ready to fly with Toothless into a new set of insane facts? Comment How to Train Your Dragon if you want that to be the next deep dive. 1. Only the left ones. Early on in the movie, Stoic's right-hand man and Hiccup's mentor, Gobber, remarks that trolls exist. They steal your socks, but only the left ones. What's with that? Not only is this a joke in regard to Gobber's prosthetics, as thanks to his peg leg, Gobber only has a left foot to begin with. However, it's also clever foreshadowing of the movie's consistent theme of disability. Hiccup loses his left leg just as Toothless lost his left tail fin. In the sequel movie, How to Train Your Dragon 2, Hiccup meets a villain who has lost his left arm, and a brainwashed dragon loses its left tusk. 2. Toothless escapes the cove. Speaking of Toothless's protection from Hiccup, Toothless has his own worthwhile parallels. After the loss of his tail fin, Toothless drifts down to the cove. A beautiful natural space with a large pond and tall walls that he cannot escape from on his own, not even to save his own life. Near the end of the movie's second act, Hiccup attempts to show the Vikings that dragons aren't evil by taming a monstrous nightmare in the kill ring. When the dragon is startled into attacking, Toothless hears the boy screaming from miles away and finds the strength to get out of the cove and runs to protect it. 3. So why didn't you? Hiccup and Toothless are the same character. Toothless is different than all the other dragons because he doesn't steal food and he's never seen. Hiccup is different than all the other Vikings because he is a light eater and he's always told to get out of sight because he causes so much trouble everywhere he goes. Toothless refuses to kill Hiccup, even though any other dragon would have done so given the opportunity, and he suffers the loss of part of his tail. Hiccup refuses to kill Toothless, even though any other Viking would have done so given the opportunity, and he suffers the loss of his foot. After being told that dragons will always try to kill him, Hiccup asks Toothless, "So why didn't you?" And later he is asked the same question about why he didn't kill Toothless. Neither could because they're not monsters. 4. Fire and water don't mix. Have you ever wondered why Toothless and Hiccup don't immediately attack the Dragon Queen after they take to the air in the thrilling climax? It's because the filmmakers were extremely careful to follow the rules they set up earlier in the film. During dragon training, Gobber noted, a wet dragon head can't light its fire, and Toothless had just spent a minute underwater, so he has to fly around for a bit to dry off before he can be of any use as a fire breather. I love this dedication to continuity. 5. The eye. When the camera pans across Toothless's body for the first time when he's tied up in front of Hiccup, for a split second we see his eye closed, but then his wing passes in front of it. And when we see the eye again, it's open and staring at Hiccup. It's a really cool moment that apparently was an accident in the animation process, but the filmmakers kept it because it was so creepy. This is an example of excellent visual storytelling. It gives us some insight into Toothless's character without anyone having to say a word. 6. Moving images. When Hiccup first reads some of the pages in the Dragon Handbook on a dark, stormy night, the images are all static, as they should be. But a flash of lightning disrupts him halfway through, and when he warily returns to the morbid task of reading about dragons' abilities to kill people, suddenly the images start moving. It's so subtle that I didn't notice it for the longest time. It adds an extra dimension to the scene, though, allowing us to not only see what Hiccup is seeing, but experience the fear that is gripping him. 7. Candle flicker. I have great respect for animators who are able to add realistic details that might go unnoticed, but nevertheless immerse viewers in the world they have created. I'm sure that candles are incredibly hard to pull off because they're such small things, but they are affected by even the smallest breeze. During the Dragon Handbook scene, Hiccup has 2 candles near him that react when he opens the book cover and when a door bursts open and lets in a gust of wind. However, they don't react at one moment when Hiccup turns a page, with the same swiftness as he did the cover. The rest of the candlelight in that scene is brilliant, but watch for that moment when it doesn't react as it should. 8. "I did this." Both Hiccup and his father Stoic say, "I did this," when they find Toothless lying in a state of semi-consciousness. When they say those words, they also don't yet realize that their actions have caused Toothless Hiccup to be forever maimed. This little moment is easy to miss because both characters whisper the line softly. Turn on your subtitles if you have trouble hearing it. 9. Hiccup the Dragon Slayer. Throughout the film, Hiccup vehemently declares he can't kill dragons, while Stoic and other Vikings boast about all the dragons they've killed and plan to kill. Ironically, Hiccup is the only Viking we actually see kill a dragon in the whole movie. Stoic punches some dragons and throws things at them, but he never kills one. It's his pacifist son who is responsible for ending the Queen Dragon's reign of terror. I don't know if the filmmakers intended that to be so ironic, but I find it intriguing that a character has to violate his conscience to save his people. Dramatic stuff. 10. One scene started as an accident. Unplanned things end up in live-action films from time to time, but in animation, hey, mistakes can bear fruit there as well. During the touch scene, Toothless is hesitant for a moment. This was actually an animation error. The animators thought it worked perfectly for the scene and left it in. 11. A dog did some voice work. A dog inspired the sound the terrible terrors make, like literally a specific dog. A sound designer saw a video of a chihuahua named Paco on YouTube and thought Paco's vocalizations were the perfect inspiration for the terrible terrors. Don't worry, Paco was reportedly paid $100 for his voiceover woe. 12. Steven Spielberg helped change the film. Spielberg was one of the heads of DreamWorks when it was its own studio, and hey, if Spielberg wants to provide some insight on your film, you're probably going to take it, right? The legendary director thought the bond between Hiccup and Toothless was losing steam as the film continued, comparing their dynamic to a cowboy and their horse in a western. As such, they added Toothless to the scene where Hiccup is dealing with losing part of his leg after the battle with the Red Death Dragon so they could have an emotional moment. 13. Gobber the Swift. Gobber is an affable character who has a missing hand and leg. When Hiccup prepares to enter the kill ring to fight the monstrous nightmare, Gobber is at his side and he says, "It's time, Hiccup, knock 'em dead." He then closes the gate behind Hiccup. About 10 seconds pass as Hiccup walks to the center of the ring and grabs a shield and knife off a weapon rack. Suddenly, we cut to Stoic, who is in the stands on the opposite side of the ring from where Hiccup entered, and he turns to Gobber and says, "I would have gone with the hammer." But wait, how did Gobber get across the ring and up into the stands behind Stoic in just a few seconds? He's not exactly a sprinter with his peg leg and heavy-set figure. I didn't know the Vikings mastered both shipbuilding and teleportation. 14. There's a cameo from another DreamWorks animation character. When Toothless is carrying Hiccup and Astrid to Dragon Island, they are surrounded by other dragons. One of them is carrying a hippo that may look familiar. That hippo is Gloria from the movie Madagascar. 15. The production team was really focused on the dragon's aesthetics. The animators wanted a distinct look for their dragons inspired by panthers, in particular. Additionally, they did a ton of research on flight and fire to try and do as good a job as possible conveying those. As a 3D release, the production team felt flight would be the film's big selling point. 16. Toothless's size is changed. To bring their ideas to life, Sanders and DeBlois had to do more than storyline changes. One of the biggest alterations they made is Toothless's size and design. In the book, the Burks boys visit a dragon nest to find their dragons. After giving up his first, Hiccup ended up with Toothless, a green, iguana-sized dragon small enough to perch on his arm. For the film, the directors enlarged Toothless to make it more menacing, rideable, and rare. With their unique design, Toothless became a mix between a panther and salamander, and was also transformed into the Night Fury. Still, it retained those big, innocent eyes and a special bond with Hiccup that made their friendship so adorable. 17. Toothless is a combination of many animals. The more you learn about Hiccup's loyal companion and the creativity behind its creation, the more impressive it becomes. To design a creature that felt rare yet relatable, the animators let their imagination run wild. Look closely and you'll notice that Toothless looks like a combination of a cat, giant salamander, and panther, far from the traditional-looking dragon. At times, he even behaves like a dog. That's because the animators drew inspiration from a variety of animals like horses, snakes, kangaroos, dogs, and even more unusual ones. How cool is that? It's no wonder Toothless is so unique and amazing with that extra pet-like touch. Even more fascinating is the fact animators attended flight school to perfect its breathtaking flight sequences. 18. Astrid rode the same dragon the whole time. Astrid might have been on her way to becoming a professional dragon slayer in the first movie, but in the second and third, she is one of Burke's most accomplished dragon riders. As a matter of fact, the deadly natter she rode in the first movie is the same dragon she used in How to Train Your Dragon 2 and The Hidden World. She named it Stormfly, and she loyally rode that dragon the entire time. Astrid and Stormfly might not be as close as Hiccup and Toothless, but they were still buddies. 19. Astrid is different in the book. One character that adds more depth to the story doesn't really exist in the book. Well, she does, but under a different name, and her story arc is different. In the book, Hiccup has no clearly defined love interest. Instead, there's Kamikaze, one of Hiccup's friends who's fierce and proud much like Astrid. She also owns Stormfly just like Astrid. However, the directors chose to enrich Astrid's character by giving her a stronger connection to Hiccup, which we must admit was a smart move. Her development aligns better with the film's tone. It's truly amazing how she evolves from Hiccup rival to his friend and eventually falls in love with him. The film simply wouldn't feel the same without their bond. 20. Some characters were invented for the film. The filmmakers had to flesh out the world of Cowell's books for the movie. Specifically, key characters were added to the mix. In the first book in the series, the one that inspired this film, Hiccup doesn't have a love interest. The character of Astrid was added to the movie. Hold on, because I've still got a bonus fact that'll make you see this movie differently. 21. A legendary cinematographer worked on the film. Sure, How to Train Your Dragon is animated, but that doesn't mean it couldn't use a good eye on the film. Sanders and DeBlois brought Roger Deakins on as a visual consultant. If you are a movie buff, the cinematographer needs no introduction. Just in case though, Deakins has been nominated for 15 Oscars, winning twice for Best Cinematography. 22. It's based on a book. In 2003, British author Cressida Cowell published the children's book, How to Train Your Dragon. The first book shares a title with the first film, but Cowell has kept going strong. There are now 12 books in the How to Train Your Dragon series. The last, How to Fight a Dragon's Fury, came out in 2015. Hiccup's journey in How to Train Your Dragon is a story that stays with you long after the credits roll. It's the journey of a boy who felt small in a world that demanded strength, yet discovered that his greatest power was kindness. Through Toothless, he found the courage to challenge everything he'd been taught, to see beauty where others saw danger, and to follow his heart even when it meant standing alone. Their bond is a reminder that sometimes the most life-changing friendships come from the places we fear the most, and that choosing understanding over violence can reshape an entire world. Hiccup didn't just tame a dragon, he healed a broken history. And if you're ready for our next emotional adventure, comment Kung Fu Panda so I can bring that incredible story to the next video.